But first, tonight's top story, a research team from the University of Alabama says some local homes could have been spared during the April storms if only they'd been built differently.
WVUA's Travis Leader discovered how a few simple steps can help keep your home on solid ground.
Homes in the Forest Lake community were reduced to rubble after the April 27th tornado. A University of Alabama engineering professor says better building would have kept this roof standing tall on top of this damaged home.
You keep the roof attached to the top of the wall, so you need special connectors there. And then you also want to connect the bottom of the walls to the foundation with some type of steel anchor bolt or rebar.
This safe room stands among piles of rubble in Forest Lake. It remained intact after the April 27th tornado, and Richardson says now is the perfect time to apply for a safe room grant.
Probably the most important to think about is consider constructing or buying a safe room. You can get reimbursed for a lot of it from FEMA if you follow their guidelines, and there's structural drawings available online for free.
And a few things to keep in mind.
Yeah, FEMA has provided structural drawings for constructing all kinds of different safe rooms, reinforced concrete, concrete block, and even wood. The publication is called FEMA 320, and it's available for free download on the internet.
Dr. Richardson says it's important to build safer structures not only to save your home, but to also save your life.
Well, it's important to prevent economic damage to your house from a tornado. The most important thing is to prevent loss of life.
Reporting in Forest Lake, Travis Leader, WVUA News.
The deadline to apply for a safe room grant is August 16th, and you can pick up an application at the Tuscaloosa County Courthouse Annex.
On your Education Watch, Alabama's adequate yearly progress scores are out. The State Department of Education released those scores today. They come from testing and measures required by the federal No Child Left Behind Act. AYP scores are intended to show student progress toward achieving 100% proficiency in reading and math. Out of Alabama's 1,383 public schools, 1,006 of them met all of their AYP requirements. 87% met 90% of their requirements, but a school has to meet every goal from the No Child Left Behind Act of 2001 to make adequate yearly progress. So, how were scores for Tuscaloosa City and county schools?
The system did not make AYP because it met 90% of all the measurable goals for the entire system. And the reason it did not make AYP as a system was in the subgroup of special education students.
Or the district, we have failed to make AYP in all categories for 2 years. And so that puts us in district improvement, meaning that we will have to come up with a plan to improve the schools, and each school will align their plan to our plan.
Adequate yearly progress scores are determined through a pretty complex system. If you'd like to get more information to get a complete understanding on your child's system and individual school and what all this means, go to our website, WVUATV.com, click numbers and links, and there click Adequate Yearly Progress Scores. You'll get much more in-detail information.
A Tuscaloosa man has been chosen as the new Chief Justice. Governor Robert Bentley chose Chuck Malone to be the Chief Justice of the Alabama Supreme Court today. Bentley says his finance director, David Perry, will become his new Chief of Staff, replacing Malone in that position. Malone was a circuit judge in Tuscaloosa County before resigning to become Bentley's Chief of Staff in January. He'll be replacing Sue Bell Cobb, who resigned from the state's highest court.
You might see long lines at the courthouse sometime soon. Funding cuts to Alabama's court system will cause an additional 253 layoffs of personnel in circuit clerks' offices and courthouses all around the state. That's according to Alabama Circuit Clerk Association President Charles Story. Story says the cuts will leave some smaller counties with only 2 employees in their clerks' offices, causing trial delays and long lines for citizens taking care of business like paying fines or filing court documents.
On your Home Team Crime Watch, new information that might help you to help investigators catch a bank robbery suspect. The FBI believes the person responsible for a bank robbery Friday afternoon in Cottondale is likely the same person who robbed a Brookwood bank 2 weeks ago. Today, Tuscaloosa police released new surveillance images from the Cottondale robbery at the Bank of Tuscaloosa on University Boulevard. Now, take a look at these images and see if you recognize the suspect. Also, there's surveillance picture from a Brookwood bank robbery, the one that occurred 2 weeks ago, from the Regions Bank on Highway 216. It looks like a man, but investigators in both cases say it might be a woman leaving in a maroon car. If you have any information on either case, call Tuscaloosa Police at 205-349-2121 or make a confidential call to Crime Stoppers at 205-752-STOP.
Right now, a vote is underway as we head toward that midnight deadline for the deal on the nation's debt limit. A compromise was finally reached last night, and leaders on both sides are now scrambling to get the votes needed to pass the agreement. The package cuts spending and guarantees further deficit reduction steps. The announcement brought some positive results in global markets, jittery over the prospect of Washington coming up empty on its bills. Although the news brought positive results, neither side got exactly what they wanted.
This legislation is typical for compromise legislation. Neither side got what they wanted, but it's the essence of compromise. I'm told the House will be voting on this sometime this evening. I'm going to work to see if we can vote today. That's not all assured, but we're working on that.
Again, that deadline is midnight. Treasury Department officials say the U.S. will not be able to pay its bills if lawmakers don't raise the debt ceiling by tonight.